This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
Even the most loyal country music lover by now has totally overdosed on country music. You're probably good until January 1st, 2025, okay? After last night's 58th edition of the CMA Awards from Bridgestone Arena in the heart of downtown Music City. And Kelly Sutton was in the big middle of it all. Radio Row for a couple of days. The red carpet last night.
Yep.
The smile is there. You still got that smile. But the eyes, look closely. The eyes are dead.
She's dead in the eyes. Look at her. There ain't nothing left. That's all she got. The crazy thing is this is the biggest travel coffee mug that I own.
Yeah.
And it was filled to the brim with 2 extra shots of espresso this morning, and it's almost gone. So that's where we are. This is where we are in the journey, and I don't have on real shoes. So I'm happy everyone is here. Thanks for joining us.
So glad when 10 a.m. comes and we wrap this thing we call Coffee, Country, and Cody. And Charlie Mattos, you were watching most of it with her last night on the red carpet, you said.
I was. I did like 14 different things, and every time I came back, you were still there live, and I'm like, wow, this is long, but it's really good. You guys got a lot of great people.
We really did. It was super fun. If you were watching last night on Opry socials, myself and Aaron Cooper, we were there doing the red carpet coverage. We were live for about 3 hours and a ton of interviews. We've got some of those highlights coming up. Annie and I was behind the scenes in the media room with all the winners. So it was even a later night for her because she had to wait till they got done with their yay on stage, and then they walk around to the back, and then they come in the press room and they talk to everybody. So even when the show is over, there's still like another hour of getting everybody back there to talk. So she has some really good clips from the press room that happened last night. I mean, we really had people everywhere.
Yeah.
We were inside, we were on the red carpet, we were behind the scenes of the press. We got you covered. That's what we do. And we have it all for you this morning. So the winners, the performances, red carpet coverage, what to look forward to, and a few little spoilers for us for things that are coming from some of our friends. We've got that coming up.
More Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
Well, you often hear me say, as it relates to tntrailsandbyways.com, get off the beaten path, take the scenic route, stand out on the scenic route. Well, we're actually on the beaten path today because Riley Parkway is a lot of things. Scenic, I would not necessarily describe it as such. You?
No.
Okay.
No. Although when you get close to the Grand Ole Opry and the Opryland complex, it becomes quite beautiful with the lights.
tntrailsandbyways.com. And I say that because if you're just scrolling down the page, each day they have a different little pop-up after you get past the 16 trail names that you can click on each one. And then 1,351 total stops. We put those 16 trails together. But today, the rotator comes up. It says ICE. Gaylord Opryland. I thought, hey, that's us with Terry Clark and front men. They are doing the dinner shows this year. It says, become a part of the story. ICE has the Frosty the Snowman theme this year. And again, you can click that link and then it opens up and takes you through the world that is a country Christmas at Gaylord Opryland, tntrailsandbyways.com.
Yeah, and a great search feature on the website, too, if you're looking for something a little out of the box, maybe Christmassy, but not so much in Nashville. You'll find dozens of great ideas there. It's just perfect if you're a Nashvilleian looking for a day trip, maybe a weekend getaway, or you're watching on Circle Country and you're going to come hang with us for a week or two. tntrailsandbyways.com. You'll find hundreds of great ideas.
The Frosty exhibited ICE. It says a dazzling, immersive, story-driven holiday showplace complete with larger-than-life ice sculptures, thrilling frozen slides, and awe-inspiring tunnels.
Oh, yeah. They give you a parka, too, to keep warm.
Yes, they do. Come experience the splendor of the holiday season with us here at Gaylord Opryland. Or if you've got other ideas, just log on. Just click that link at tntrailsandbyways.com. Get off the beaten path and take the scenic route. Well, the scenic route led this lady to Radio Row for a couple of days, to the red carpet last night for the 58th edition of the CMA Awards. But let me say, the night before,
yes,
you were on ABC 2020 as a part of a piece that I saw with Jason Aldean featured about country music in Vegas.
Yeah, they actually do a special every year that leads into the CMA Awards. For years, it was with Robin Roberts. So this year, they had Luke Bryan host it, and they said, we just want some people who are in town to be like color commentators. So we did an interview, a sit-down interview, just talking about all of the different residencies that are happening in Las Vegas and the ties that country music has to that city, and other things that have been happening in our genre. And they talked to me for 2 hours and used about 6 minutes.
That's not a bad ratio.
That's not.
That's
really,
actually pretty good.
And I say 6 minutes, it might not even be that. But yeah, I taped it and didn't get it. I haven't seen it. I saw the clip that they sent me, but I haven't seen the whole thing yet.
And as a loyal corporate subject, you got to plug in for Old Red.
Yes, I sure
Good
do.
for you, girl.
That's right. I need to send that. When we sit down for our one-on-ones, I need to say, by the way, have you seen the promo that I got for us? Here you go.
Nice.
No, it was really, really good. Speaking of which, last night, Category 10 apparently was crazy. They had a big old party there after the CMA Awards. So if you haven't seen Category 10, go check it out. It's now open, Luke Combs Bar, and a part of our family. Last night, 58th Annual CMA Awards. Man, it is country music's biggest night in Nashville, and it did not disappoint. We had a huge list of winners. Congratulations. Our Entertainer of the Year, Morgan Wallen. Even though Jeff Bridges called him Morgan Whalen, and he was not present to win, but he was there. Female Vocalist of the Year was Lainey Wilson. Congratulations. Also hosting the show last night with Luke Bryan and Peyton Manning. Male Vocalist of the Year went to Chris Stapleton. He also picked up Single of the Year and Song of the Year. Album of the Year winner, our friend Cody Johnson for Leather. And Vocal Group of the Year, Old Dominion won for a 7th time. This is now a record. 7 times in a row, they broke the record. Congratulations to them. As they walked up, they just talked about, you know what, if you're weird and you make music, we really need you right now. The world needs you right now. So that was really cool. I think the biggest shock, and you could hear it in the room, and I'm sure people at home probably were a little shocked as well. Duo of the Year went to Brooks and Dunn. And they were shocked. When they announced it, the entire arena was quiet for a second. Like, what did they just say? And then everyone erupted. And Kix and Ronnie sat there and looked at each other for the longest time. And I'm like, boys, you got to stand up and go to the stage. And then when they stood up, they didn't know where to go. They were just kind of looking around, and I said, somebody help them, get them to the stage, because they were not expecting to win. Reboot 2 is out, the new album, and they've had such success with a lot of their songs getting on TikTok. They were talking about their streams and Neon Moon and so many incredible opportunities that have happened for the boys. But congratulations, because now they beat Vince Gill's record, right?
There were something like a little over 25 possible record breakers going into last night.
Okay.
And one of them was, if Brooks and Dunn won, the 18 each tie with Vince Gill would be broken, and they would have the CMA all-time lead.
So now they won 19.
19. It's part of their genius, to quote
It is
Ronnie
part-
Dunn. It's part of my.
How did that happen? Part of my genius.
It's just
That's
part
basically
of my
what he
creative
says.
genius.
Yeah, so incredible. Complete list of winners. Of course, you can go over to CMA and look at everybody if you want to see some of the other categories. Also, I'm trying to think. There was somebody else that we talked to. Oh, Josh Ross. Josh Ross, congratulations to him. He's our Opry Next Stage artist. He's going to be on stage with us coming up December 9th with the Opry Next Stage class of 2024. But he walked over to chat with us on the red carpet. He was the Global Country Artist Award winner. Here's how that went down. Take a look.
He just won!
Josh Ross, what did you win?
Global Country Artist Award, which is super special. What a great! This is my first CMAs. This is wild. So first time red carpet. First.
Is it heavy?
Yes, here you go.
Oh gosh, that's got some head to it. So Luke Bryan gave this to you, right?
Yes, I'm like, why is he hanging around me? I was like trying to figure out what was going on. And
what's going on over there?
Yeah, he just walks in. He's like, here you go. I'm like, all right. This is crazy.
That's amazing.
I always have to like step away and think about these things. I'm so in the moment always. I'm like, what is actually happening right now? So this is just crazy. I'm so blessed. First CMAs, first red carpet.
Well, this is something Miss Lainey Wilson's going to have to brag on you about at the Opry on December 9th when she hosts your Opry Next Stage show. She's going to have to introduce you with that.
I'm so excited. It's going to be a fun night. I'm so excited to see all the people of the class of 24. It's going to be great.
There you go. That is really, really special. So now forevermore, CMA Award winner Josh Ross.
Hey, whose record did Old Dominion break? When you said they have 7 now?
I don't remember, but it has to be like either Little Big Town, maybe.
Lady A?
Lady A? I don't know. They said 7
We'll
years.
have to go back and look.
7 years in a row for. No, it might have been Alabama. Now that I think about it,
Yeah.
it could have been Alabama or the Oak Ridge Boys, maybe. But the Oaks presented it to them, so
Nice.
that was really special. We had such a great time on the red carpet. There were 3 hours of chatting with all of our friends, and I did get a little bit of scoop. So Carly Pierce, who is contractually obligated to talk to us because she has a tattoo on her arm. I told her that, by the way. She may have let something slide last night. Take a listen.
Contractually obligated to talk to us. She has a tattoo on her body.
With WSM.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so we talked to Jordan Davis. You guys are presenting together.
We are, yeah.
Yeah, this is becoming a fun thing.
I mean, I think we should do a song together.
Oh.
And she sat there for the longest time. So I think there's a new Jordan Davis, Carly Pierce collab coming to us very soon. Also, a little bit of scoop from our friend Jackson Dean. So Jackson, of course, we came to know him really after his song was played on Yellowstone. And a few years ago, I kept asking, like, listen, you kind of got a little bit of a bump of fame because your song was on Yellowstone. Would you ever do any acting? And at the time he said, yeah, I'd totally be open to it. If Taylor Sheridan offered, I would absolutely do it.
And that was Don't Come Looking, right?
Don't Come Looking. That was the song. So last night I followed up on that and I said, hey man, Taylor's got like 1883 and 1924 or what? I can't even keep them all straight.
He's 27.
27. I don't know.
1927.
That's a lot of them.
Yeah.
And Yellowstone is back. I said, have you talked to him yet? Do we have anything? Do we have an update? Here's how that went.
I know Taylor Sheridan is on a roll right now with all these new things. I keep saying, I feel like you would be great in any of them. Have you been contacted? Are you going to act?
As of this moment, I have no comments on the matter.
Okay. There has been development.
That says a lot,
I've
Jackson.
met him. I've met him.
I told you this 2 years ago.
Yeah. He was very nice. We maybe said 20 words to each other, but they were the right ones.
Ooh. I like that.
We said 20 words to each other, but they were the right ones. Okay, so we will wait and see. Will Jackson Dean be a bad guy somewhere on Yellowstone or one of the other franchises? Landman is also coming out.
Billy Bob Thornton.
We talked to him last night.
Thing is intense, isn't it?
And Mark Colley is the sheriff. And he was with Billy Bob last night on the red carpet. And I tell you what, those two are 2 peas in a pod. They love
Kelly
each other.
Sutton, it takes a 38 to kill a man.
That's right.
Right.
And he might do it because he's the sheriff. So he's got a badge in this one.
Got a badge to back it up.
That's right. We've got more coming up, including all the audio from backstage that Annie and I got for us. So that'll be next time in Entertainment Headlines.
From WSM Radio, this is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
My pick of the week is just a few minutes away, but first let's get all that is the 58th edition of the CMA Awards into our rear view now. And she was there to see it all. She was at ABC 2020 on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
And then last night at the awards show, you spent a couple of days on Music Row, or Radio Row,
Yep.
as a part of the CMA Music celebration last night, our culmination annually of the biggest night in country music all year, CMA Awards.
It was a big night. It was a really big night. I think it showcased our city beautifully. I think, for people that only tune in and get to see a little bit of it, they get to see enough to fall in love. That's all we need.
Charlie, you've mentioned this before, that Bridgestone Arena, as arenas go, I mean, we forget how old it is now. And it's held up quite well compared to other arenas around the country.
Oh, people have built things and torn them down to build newer things in the time that we've had Bridgestone Arena.
Yeah.
And I used to be Powers Management. I don't know who still does it now, but it is a beautifully kept arena and acoustically really quite good for an arena. I mean, it's a win-win on every level.
Yeah, it was a great night overall. Big winners. We've got the whole list for you, so we'll run down a few of them. But the shock of the night, I would say, probably there were a couple, but the biggest audible gasp that I heard watching the awards, duo of the year, Brooks and Dunn. No one saw this coming. I swear to you, even Brooks and Dunn. Kix and Ronnie stared at each other for a solid probably 10 seconds after they said their name. So when they walked backstage, they were talking all about just the success that they've had in the last year and where it all came from. They caught up with our Annie Nye in the media room. Take a listen. In just a second. It's coming, I promise. Here it is.
we're on tour when that was happening, and he calls me on the bus and he goes, "Hey man, everybody's doing this dance. You got to check it out right now." And I checked it out, and there was some people dancing. I could see what they were doing, and then there was a raccoon doing this dance, and there was a dolphin or something down in SeaWorld who was flapping his things to this dance. And I'm like, he goes, "Man, they said at the record label, we could turn, this thing is going to blow up. It's at like 3 million right now, but this thing could go crazy if we do it." And I go, "That'd be cool, but I ain't doing that. I'm just not going to do that."
I ain't flapping my fins. Those things are called fins, Kicks.
I ain't flapping my fins. I don't care what people are doing to Neon Moon. I ain't doing it. But it is part of the reason that they're so successful. I mean, they've got great songs anyway, but now they've got Reboot 2 that is out, and you're going to be able to hear all of those songs. They did a collaboration with Jelly Roll. Jelly did Believe, and they did it together on stage last night. And listen, I love Jelly Roll. I love his voice. I love hearing him sing. But Jelly singing it was like we'll call it a 9. And then Ronnie walks out and starts to sing, and it went to a solid 12. I mean, chills all over, both of them together, gospel choir, fire in the back. It was just beautiful. It was so, so very well done.
Well, knowing that Ronnie once wanted to, theology was his background.
Yes.
And when I hear him sing that, it's like a sermon.
It is.
And he delivers it like that.
And there's spoken word in it.
But
Absolutely.
It's just beautiful.
It was gorgeous.
You mentioned how surprised everybody was, including them.
Yes.
Brothers Osborne had won 6 of the last 8.
Yeah.
So they would certainly, and the other 2 went to Dan and Shay. So you would think one of those 2 would have been the favorite.
Well, and Dan and Shay had a big tour and bigger houses, and they just put out the Christmas album. I mean, I thought it was probably going to be Dan and Shay again. That was my guesstimate. I don't think anybody saw Brooks and Dunn coming.
Well,
so
and TJ just celebrated TJ Osborne, a 40th birthday earlier this week. So
oh, happy birthday.
Thanks for crushing his birthday hopes and wishes.
Also, happy birthday to Dierks Bentley, whose birthday was yesterday. And this was kind of funny, just inside baseball. But the setup next to us on the red carpet was CBS Sunday Morning. And they had a cupcake and a little candle. And Dierks didn't walk the red carpet. And so I looked over and I was like, "Is it your birthday?" And he goes, "I had that for Dierks Bentley." So I took a picture and I sent it to Dierks. And I was like, "Happy birthday, brother. They had a cupcake for you." But
you missed out.
Would have worked for Josh Turner, too.
Oh, that's right.
It was his birthday yesterday, too.
That's exactly
right. But they
right.
were 0 for 2 on that.
0 for 2. Yeah. Okay, winners last night. Entertainer of the Year, Morgan Wallen. Female Vocalist of the Year, Lainey Wilson. Male Vocalist of the Year, Chris Stapleton. He also got Single of the Year and Song of the Year. We already mentioned Duo of the Year. Group of the Year, Old Dominion, breaking that record. And Ashley McBryde gave, I think, one of the most poignant performances last night. It was a tribute to Chris Christopherson. It was her, a guitar, and a spotlight. Not a pin drop. It was like everything was completely silent and focused on her. She had the entire arena in her hands. And that's not why she did it that way. She did it that way because she said that is the proper way to honor Chris Christopherson. And boy, did she nail it. So beautiful job from Ashley McBryde last night.
And there was a picture there, if you were watching on Circle, Willie Nelson and Chris in the studio.
Yeah.
And of course, last night we recognized with the Willie Nelson Lifetime Achievement Award, George Strait.
Yes. Came out. We had Jamie Johnson came out on stage. And then it was Parker McCullum and Miranda Lambert came out and did a song. And then Chris Stapleton was on stage with George.
They do Honky Tonk Hall of Fame.
They sure did. And you know who was right behind him on the stage? 2 of our Opry background singers. Marty was right there.
Marty Slayton.
And Rob was right beside her. So I'm looking, I go, look at our Opry family. I was screaming and taking video of them, but it was really fun to see.
And a quick shout out to one of our colleagues, because he hosts the Air Castle Community Hour on WSM. But Charlie Worsham, Musician of the Year.
Yeah, baby.
I was thrilled for him.
We talked to him when he was on the red carpet, and I said, this is one of those fun nights. And he goes, "Man, I just love catching up with everybody." And then I said, since you're our coworker, you want to give a plug as to what is coming up on your show. And so he did a whole little
promo.
Like, this is what's going on the show this weekend. Make sure you tune in. And then he walks in and wins a CMA award. So super happy for Charlie Worsham. Hey, coming up in just a little bit, we've got red carpet clips that we're going to show you. Jackson Dean, Josh Ross, Carly Pierce giving us some scoop. That's all next in Entertainment Headlines.
All right, my pick of the week goes to Kane Brown. And if you are a parent or a grand, Charlie, you had this great idea some years ago with Jackson. You called it Car Seat Conversations.
Car Seat Conversations. Yes, I could have written this song.
Yeah.
The problem is I did not write this song. No, that's the
because
woulda, shoulda, coulda.
Jacob Davis and Jordan Walker apparently
beat me to it.
had some experience with those backseat conversations. Like Lily, my granddaughter, whom I pick up a couple of days a week in the car rider line, said to me very recently, just out of the blue, she says, "Popo, are you ever going to retire from the Grand Ole Opry?" And I said, no, I've not really thought about it. And she said, "I hope you do it till you die."
Oh, okay.
All right.
Backseat driver.
No, if you could work that into a show, we could go viral.
More Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
She is a long time friend of ours. Deborah Evans Price is here with a new book, Country Faith Christmas. Country faith is a theme in your author life, but for this particular occasion, it's Christmas time, and we haven't even gotten to Thanksgiving, girl.
I know, but it's been out since October, and I'm so excited.
50 reflections and recipes from leading country music stars are featured here.
Oh, yeah. This book was so much fun to work on. For one thing, I love seeing all the family photos. We ask people for childhood photos or photos with their, wife and kids. And one of my favorites is Alan Jackson sitting on Santa's lap. How sweet is that?
Oh, my goodness.
Well,
so you've had this incredible personality that people fall in love with, and you have had an amazing career. We were just talking backstage that you were doing an interview with Dolly, and you happened to pull out a feature piece, and it clicked for you. How many years have you been doing this as a journalist?
I've been in Nashville 40 years now.
Wow.
Did you come here to do what you're doing?
I sure did. And
from where?
From Louisiana. I worked in radio at KRMD in Shreveport and went to LSU Shreveport. And I came here thinking, I'll go to Nashville for a year or two and then go to New York or LA. Fell in love, stayed here, and I've just been so blessed to be doing this all these years. And that Dolly cover, it was for American Songwriter magazine, and I found it at a flea market, and I thought, I wrote for them for years, and I picked it up, and sure enough, it was from April of 1990, and during the recent interview that I did for Woman's World, I took that, I'm like, we have been doing cover stories for 34 years. What a blessing that is, I mean,
that's so cool.
Absolutely blessed us. Speaking of the country music stars, we sit here in the Acuff House living room on the Grand Ole Opry Plaza. You're sitting on wood that's from the Ryman Auditorium, same wood that the famed circle at the Opry House comes from. And the first thing you did was pull out your phone and show me a picture of your grandfather with Roy Acuff backstage, and immediately I recognized it backstage at the Opry because of the old metal lockers we had that were still in place until the flood.
They were.
Which Trace Adkins famously said after we remodeled, he said, "Man, I'm so glad. Sometimes a flood's a good thing." He said, "This place looked like a high school cafeteria."
True.
And it kind of did. But tell us about that friendship relationship, where that picture came from after all these years.
Oh, my goodness. Like, my first job in the business was for a magazine called R&R, Radio and Records.
Oh, yeah.
And so that photo was like from the late 80s, probably. And my granddad was in town, and he is one of the reasons I love country music. Mm-hmm. He listened to the Opry forever. And so I was able to take him backstage, and I was telling Kelly, his name was Eugene Dunaway, and he was a coal miner. And he was so quiet and shy and just the greatest guy. But got him backstage at the Opry and introduced him to Mr. Acuff and David Houston and Roy Drusky and Minnie. And he just came alive and was talking to them, and it was like they'd known each other for years. It was like he had found his people. And it's just such an incredible night, and that photo brings back so many memories.
So when you came here 40 years ago, what was your first job?
Shoney's. Actually, I had 2 waitressing jobs. Remember the Fiddler's Inn?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
My friend that I moved up here with, Pam, and I checked in the Fiddler's Inn and overheard them say they were looking for a waitress in the dining room. So, boom, went up, got my room, got back down and started training. And then I worked there and Shoney's, both for a while. And then I worked for a book publisher, Harris Publishing. Okay. Did that for it wasn't in the music industry. And then I got the job at R&R. And it was like, yes,
There it is.
Oh, yeah, that for program directors and on-air personalities, R&R was a radio Bible.
It was.
Yeah,
And
you look every week. You waited for R&R to roll in. You know.
And one of the coolest things about that job, this Lib Hatcher, Randy's ex-wife, Randy Travis, Lib and Randy lived upstairs, and they rented the bottom as office space. So there was Stan Bird, remember Chart Attack Promotions? There was Fusion Films. Anyway, there was 3 small companies in the ground floor, and Randy and Lib lived upstairs. So I knew him like before he signed, when he was still working at the Palace, before he signed his record deal. And when he signed his booking contract, they were like, okay, your desk is the cleanest, Deborah. Can we take the picture? And the best thing, y'all, I have pictures of him at my bridal shower because we had the shower at the office, and he was downstairs working out and came up to get cleaned up to go to the Palace. And so I'm like, one of these days, honey, you're going to be a big deal, and I'm going to have pictures of you crashing my bridal shower. And I do.
You do. I love these stories.
All right,
I love
so
it.
Which one of these belongs to Reba McEntire? Recipes from Country Faith Christmas, 50 reflections and recipes from leading country music stars.
Okay.
Is it, and again, this is to Reba McEntire, multiple choice.
Okay.
Fantasy fudge, snowball cake, apple pecan cornbread dressing, or pigs in a blanket?
Pigs in a blanket.
I'm going to go with Kelly. Pigs in a blanket.
I just know Reba loves corn dogs, so that would be my guess.
Pigs in a blanket it is.
I thought so.
Apple pecan cornbread dressing, that goes to Matthew West.
Oh, hello, Matthew.
Snowball cake, Rodney Atkins.
Okay.
And fantasy fudge, Tyler Hubbard.
Tyler Hubbard. We have a lot of good fudge recipes in there. There's one from Wade Hayes. And and then Tyler's and several in there. It's funny, like fudge, always a big thing at Christmas, but chili. Like we have several really good. Tanya Tucker's got her chicken chili recipe in there.
Really?
Yeah.
Does anybody put spaghetti in their chili, or is it just me?
Oh, I love spaghetti.
Okay.
That's a very Skyline thing to do.
That's a very Southern Indiana, Cincinnati kind of area thing. Yeah.
Well, Deborah Evans Price, we continue with her on Coffee, Country, and Cody, and more of these recipes.
Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
Deborah Evans Price is in studio with us this morning with her book, Country Faith Christmas, 50 Reflections and Recipes from Leading Country Music Stars. And it's available now at Amazon, Walmart, Barnes & Noble. And you've got a book signing on Sunday in Hendersonville. Tell us about Monthaven.
I am so excited. Monthaven's one of my favorite places in Nashville, Hendersonville. It's this beautiful art gallery in this old historic house. And they just always have so many great events out there. A lot of benefits for veterans. They have a lot of programs for children to get them into the arts. And it's just a wonderful place. So they invited me to come out and do a book signing. So I'm so excited.
And it's 2 to 5 on Sunday.
2 to 5 on Sunday. And T. Graham Brown is going to join me from 2 to 3:30. And then Richard Sturban from the Oaks is going to come from 3:30 to 5. Now, is that not some good friends to give up their Sunday afternoon?
Friends. Those are great friends.
Amazon says treat yourself or a loved one to this delightful coffee table book, beautifully presented in a hardcover format with a ribbon bookmark, perfect for cozying up with during the festive season.
Was there one of these recipes that as soon as you kind of saw it, you're like, I think I got to try that?
Oh, yeah. Lainey Wilson's cookie recipe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it looks really good.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. And John Barry's mother-in-law, Carol, has a sweet potato souffle recipe that she let us use. Oh. So I really want to try that. That looks incredible.
Souffle sounds so intimidating.
You know, I thought that too, Kelly. And then I looked at the recipe and I thought, and I'm not a good cook. My husband is. Okay. But I thought, I think I can do this.
Okay.
Yeah, just don't slam the door, because then the souffle goes,
Right. That's my, I always had those mental images of it. But anything sweet potato, I'm
a big sweet potato fan,
me too.
Me too.
So Lauren Elena's sugar cookies, Nana's sugar cookies, that's in here.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
some
We
of the
have
highlights from Opry stars. Scotty McCreery, Mama's breakfast pie. Jeannie Seeley, coconut cream cake.
Oh, I want to try that.
Wow.
Doesn't that look great?
She has never brought that to the Opry backstage.
That's exactly my
little hint over there. If she and Mr. Gene are listening this morning.
I think because Gene A. Ward says, hey, don't take that backstage at the Opry. Leave that here at the house. And Charles Eston, who was just sitting in that chair where you are this morning in the last couple of days, the famous sweet potato recipe is his go-to in your book.
We've
So
got a lot of
highlighted
sweet
here.
potato recipes, cookie recipes, and I love what Lainey wrote in hers because it's a typical sugar, flour, vanilla, and then at the end it said, and a handful of love.
Aww.
Oh, that's like the old Purina commercials with Rex Allen. And all you add is love. Remember that?
I remember that.
I got to pick your brain on something too. And we'll get back to the book because I know you got a great story to wrap up our interview. But tell me about the Dionne Warwick experience. You got to meet her, and I know you had a history with her as well. But I really wanted to go to that Skirmahorn show, and I'm kicking myself I didn't.
Charlie, it was amazing. Yeah. Oh my goodness, she'll be 84 on December 12th. You would not know it. She looks amazing. Sounded incredible, and those songs, like I kept elbowing Gary, going, "I love this one, I love this one."
Well, you went Bacharach.
Burt Bacharach and Hal David.
You went through the set list. I thought I knew them all, and then there was a couple of them. I forgot about that one.
Yeah. Oh, she was great, and I've interviewed her a few times for Woman's World and Jesus Calling and different outlets, and I was so tickled that we got to go backstage and say hello because Gary never met her.
It's a great photo of all of you, but especially Gary and Dionne. You can tell he's just so like it made his day.
I love that photo. And I had given. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I had given her. I'm trying to make this story short. A few years ago, she was playing the Opry at the Ryman, and so was Rita Wilson, Tom Hanks' wife. So I was interviewing Dionne for something. Well, then all of a sudden the door bursts open, and here's Tom and Rita. So I'm trying to scoop up my tape recorder and stuff and get out the door and just get out of everybody's way. And here comes a camera crew filming this big reunion. And so I'm like hanging out over here trying to stay out of everybody's way, and they're taking pictures and stuff. And then Rita's like, "What?" Because I've interviewed her, and she's wonderful. She's like, "Deborah, you need to be in a picture." I'm like, "God bless you." But anyway, but I took this picture of, and it's Rita, Tom, and Dionne, and they're smiling and just joyful. So I had that and another photo from that night blown up and took them to her the other night. And she just, like, I love a good old framed photo, not just a digital thing. And she does as well. So that was fun to get to give her those and see her smile.
So do you know the way to San Jose?
I do.
Do you? Okay.
Well, that's what friends are for, right?
And let's close with the Joe Nichols story that you said, hey, we don't know the story. You just off the air teased ahead and said, hey, remind me to share the Joe Nichols story.
Oh, this made me cry when he told me, and it gets to me every time I read it. But he grew up in Pea Ridge, Arkansas, and he was talking about there was one Christmas that his mom, single mother, set him and his brother down and told him they're just not going to be gifts this year. And the boys were resigned to that. They knew Mom was struggling. Well, somehow someone at their church, because Joe said he and his brother would go to church, every time that they could, and someone found out. And so Christmas Eve, somebody came with all these gifts, all this food, everything that just made their Christmas. And he said he has never forgot that little community and that little Pea Ridge, that small town, and how they came together and made that Christmas special when it looked like it wasn't going to be.
Oh. And there are 49 others, Kelly, in this book that are available right now. Country Faith Christmas this year. 50 reflections and recipes from leading country music stars like you just heard from Joe Nichols. Deborah Evans Price.